Thank you all, and thanks to Mays Middleton, a state representative around here, soon to be the senator of the area in which we gather here today. I want to start out by also thanking the Gulf Coast Industry Forum, as well as the Economic Alliance Houston Port Region. You know, when you think about it, the group of companies, this mighty industry, this entire community, centered around the 25-mile-long Houston Ship Channel, supports more than 1 million jobs and billions in tax revenue. It is the nexus of the Texas energy and business sectors. Texas is the energy capital of the United States of America. And it's because of all the energy that flows in and out of this very ship channel near here that leads to Texas being in such a prominent position. In addition to that, even more broadly speaking, Texas truly does power the United States of America economy. Energy happens to be at the core of the Texas economy, but now we are expanding far beyond just energy. One thing that we learned decades ago, and one thing that we have focused on, is ensuring that we diversify our economy. And we've done so in ways in which we have been able to continue being the leader in oil and gas. And we have done so in ways in which we have been able to continue to expand the port here as well as other ports in the state of Texas. But we've also done it through diversification, such as a program that would lead to a stable economy, regardless of the economic ups and downs, a stable economy that will continue to lead to job growth also, regardless of the economic ups and downs. And we've seen that very prolifically through shipping, through the shipping of the port. And you know that part of what is shipped in and out of this port is oil and gas, but also there are so many other products that come in and out of here. So shipping unto itself is part of the economic strength of the state of Texas, so much so that Texas has ranked the #1 state in America for exports for 20 years in a row. And the greater Houston region plays a prolific role in that status for Texas. But think about this, we're talking about oil and gas. We all know there's far more than just oil and gas to our economy. Think about what the role that agriculture plays in our economy. You know, cotton. Texas is the leading state for cotton in the United States of America. It provides the fiber that's on the clothing of many of the people who are sitting in this room right now. And we use it not only for products here in Texas, but the fiber from cotton goes in the clothing that is then shipped across the entire globe. And then there's cattle. Texas leads the country in cattle. Beef from Texas feeds the world. And that is in addition to the energy, that we do more than just use the energy to produce oil and gas for Texas or the United States to rely upon. But if you're following at all what's going on in the aftermath of the Russian invasion of the Ukraine, the oil and gas that's produced in Texas and shipped out of Texas is more essential globally now than ever before in the history of the world. And so, yes, we have built a very well diversified economy. And our goal is to make sure that we continue that. But I got to tell you, the port that you all are involved in is poised to grow even more prolifically in the days, years, and decades to come. And let me tell you 4 reasons why. One is ongoing supply chain problems. I just got through visiting with some business leaders in downtown Houston where for their businesses, which are very important to the Houston region, they are still suffering some supply chain problems. But let's go back in time to this past spring, and maybe before then, when we saw the prolific supply chain problems, and you can remember perhaps vividly the stack up of ships along the coastline in California that were waiting months to be able to get into port. And then if you heard what happened after they got into port, it was an even more bogged up supply chain problem because there was nothing happening even after the goods got removed from the ships. What I know in talking to port leaders across the state of Texas is we can move far faster inland on what's happening on the port side with regard to the movement of goods off the ships, and once they get off the ships, get them onto the roads and get them moved to their ultimate destination. But also we can do a better job in Texas than they can in California with regard to the docking and loading of ships in general. And so we are working on programs internationally to work on increasing shipping to and from the state of Texas. When you just look at the math of the time that it takes to get a ship into California, and you all know as well as I do that in any type of business, but particularly in the shipping business, time is money. And so as we speak today, there are thousands of businesses in dozens of countries across the entire globe that are rethinking their shipping process and looking to Texas to be a part of their solution for the shipping of goods. There's another changing dynamic that will continue to grow vastly over the next decade, and that is a reshoring and onshoring, or just an origination in the United States or in Canada and Mexico of products that are needed for essential aspects of our lives. I'll give you several easy examples. Remember during the time when COVID first hit, everything that we needed came from China or some other country. The PPE that we needed was produced in China. The straws that were stuck up your nose came from Italy and other countries. The vials that medicines came from other countries. We have better learned a lesson, and that is we can no longer ship out to other countries. Our essential needs that we need to save our lives, or that we need to power our cities or fund our communities. And as a result, you're seeing a massive shift in manufacturing as well as the origination of essential supplies to make sure that they're going to be developed right here. And what that will mean in part is that we will be developing it here, but others will be looking to us, others as in people from other countries, will be looking to us for their supplies because they know that China can no longer be counted on as a trusted partner to help them out. And as a result, you can expect to see increased shipping out of the Port of Houston because of that. Another thing closely related to that is geopolitics, and this relates maybe specifically to the Russia situation. Surely you know that what's going on in the EU and their inability to access the oil and gas they've been dependent upon to keep their countries warm during the time of winter. And they are in a situation where they are relying solely upon renewable power in their countries, but they're desperately seeking fossil fuel-based power that will keep them warm during what could be an extraordinarily cold winter. They're looking to their partners in the United States. And it will be ports like the Port of Houston that is shipping supplies out, as well as other ports up and down the Texas border, to make sure that we are doing our part to literally power the entire world. And then there is our internal growth. The fact of the matter is more businesses are moving to Texas than to any other state. Many of those businesses may operate internally and may never do any shipping. But some, if not many of those businesses, will be involved in the manufacturing of goods that will lead to shipping. And so you can see just from the sheer movement of the companies that are coming here the companies that are growing here, as well as what we're working on in diversification to ensure a more robust manufacturing industry sector in our state, that there will be more goods and services that will be going through ports in the coming years than you can even imagine. So the Port of Houston and its many companies are a vital part of the Texas economic juggernaut. Texas has so many number one rankings, it is astonishing that you all are a part of. The CEOs who run businesses have ranked Texas as the number one state in America as the best state for doing business for 18 years in a row. Texas has won the Governor's Cup that goes to the state that ranks number one in the United States for the most economic development projects for 10 years in a row. As I mentioned before, Texas leads the nation in exports, and Texas is now home to more Fortune 500 company headquarters than any other state in the United States of America. The biggest companies in the world are choosing Texas as their location. Many of those companies will be involved in the export business. But let's add to all those numbers this fact, and that is large businesses play a role, but mathematically most businesses in the state of Texas are small businesses. So I'm proud to tell you that Texas also ranks number one in the United States as the best state in America to start a small business. Those small businesses, they may be involved in the export process, or they may be involved in dealing with other businesses that are involved in the export process. But I know one thing about many of those small businesses. They want to grow, and we want them to grow. Small businesses become medium-sized businesses. Medium-sized businesses become large businesses. And we will continue to work with them to help make sure that they are going to have the resources as well as the workforce to help them be able to grow. Bottom line is that because of what you all have done in this room over the past 4 years, Texas has added far more new jobs than any other state in the United States of America. What this means is a couple of things. A job sounds like it's a category. The reality is a job is a paycheck. And as we gather here today, there are more Texans receiving a paycheck than ever before in the history of our state. That paycheck helps them to buy a car, or buy a home, or provide for their family. It allows every Texan to have their own slice of the prosperity that comes from Texas. But there's some other benefits that also go along with all of our economic success. Because of what the people in this room have done, empowering our economy to unprecedented heights. As we gather today, the state of Texas is sitting on a budget surplus of $27 billion. And we need to be able to spend that money in this next session. So here's what I suggest we do with that money. We spend some of it to address education needs. We spend some of it to address healthcare needs. We will spend some, we've already dedicated a large amount of money separate from all of that to building out our infrastructure, which would include port infrastructure. But I submit that we understand whose money that is. That surplus money is money that's been provided by taxpayers. And I submit that we return it to taxpayers by taking at least half of that $27 billion and provide the largest property tax cut in the history of the state of Texas. So the best way to end a speech is with a round of applause, and so I'll end on that. And let me just say thanks again to the Gulf Coast Industry Forum and to the Economic Alliance Houston Port Region for everything you do to power the Texas economy. Thank you all. God bless you all, and God bless the great state of Texas. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.